Since you guys already know my extraordinary League of Legends skills and my achievement that I hit Challenger after just playing one match, I found out that this game is way too easy for me, and so I decided to find a new challenge. A task so hard that most League of Legends players can't achieve. A task so brutal that most people will just give up. That's how I came up with the totally unused and game-breaking idea to play the champion with the lowest win rate on a specific role in League of Legends. So I went through all kinds of tier lists on different websites, watched several YouTube videos and asked people which champ has the worst win rate until
Wait a minute!
wasn't there a champion in League of Legends that was so dependent on his teammates that he literally couldn't walk alone and just had to stick to one champ the whole game like a parasite and can just spam abilities without being able to get targeted. Yes, this disgusting piece of shit. Now I just had to put her on a position where she is completely useless. The jungle, with a 10% win rate. A position where she is forced to fight something alone without any help, the bad gank potential, and the lack of mobility makes Yuumi probably the worst champ in League of Legends on the jungle role. She needs a really long leash while she loses most of her HP, rising the chance of getting killed by your own jungle camps. Meanwhile, the enemy jungler can invade your jungle whenever he wants, since who is going to stop him? This thing right here? Well, honestly, she can just take my camps since Yuumi can't clear any jungle camps when there is more than one target that can deal damage to her. Also, she needs 35 seconds on average to clear a red or blue buff. So she is forced to go for a ganks where she needs some help, otherwise she just gets killed or fight the scuttle crab, the only monster that doesn't fight back, but you obviously can contest it. Same thing for drakes. I can't attack them since they shoot back. So while the enemy jungler gets all objectives and provide his team with some gold, I just stick around my teammates, steal some XP while I'm underleveled, and give them a second useless supporter they didn't ask for. But it's not only a hard task to win the game, but actually not to go mental, since your teammates will spam ping you for your off-meta pick and blame you for everything they mess up. So it also has its psychological disadvantage. But that was exactly the kind of challenge I was looking for. A task which seems impossible to manage, but I will continue to play this champ until I get my first win. So I went right away into a game and asked my top lane for some support that I needed for beating the blue buff like a ordinary jungler, but it seems like he is not interested in helping, so I had to do it on my own with incredible clear speed and some near-death experiences. I tried my luck with a gank, since I had the capability to do another jungle camp after using all my healing pots and a 60-second cooldown on my smite, so I decided to help the top laner, which wasn't successful. Meanwhile, the Heimerdinger asked me for a favor. Hey man, can you please attach to me and help fighting this Aurelia? Sorry bro, you are on the enemy team, I can't heal you. But here, take my blue buff. Great. So he took it. So in return I decided to help her by creating a situation where we outnumber him, but she wasn't interested to pick up a fight until I left the mid lane. She dove straight into it, making it impossible to save her ass. In the river I kindly asked my top laner if he could flip the scrap for me to remove its shield and deal some damage, so I don't have to waste a whole minute for it, but same situation as at the beginning, he just wasn't interested. Due to my incredible map awareness, I saw the other cat moving towards the north, so I asked for some support again. But he just wasn't interested. But that doesn't mean that I won't support him when he is in trouble, so I helped him escaping from the polar bear, but instead of running towards our base, the crab decided to go deeper into enemy territory, so he let me down again. This failure caused our Aurelia to go AFK and open me the way to collect my first lose. This time my bot lane was so kind and helped me, reducing the amount of time I had to spend on my first jungle monster for about 20 seconds. Since solo ganking lanes wasn't quite successful, I attached to the Nidalee to kill the assassin on the mid lane with 1000 dashes, and after we spotted her hiding inside the dusk, I got my first assist on Yuumi jungle. I got a surprise visit by the Blitzcrank, but I think I might be safe here. I ganked the top lane, since I knew when I just attached to the Tryndamere we could just win the fight diving the Camille while being immortal. Since it went so well, we decided to do the same thing again, but we got some unexpected visit from the assassin, and after I lost my host there was no chance for any escape with my ridiculous movement speed. So now it was time to do the scuttle crab. The benefit of being attached to someone else is the safety you get due to the fact that no one can attack you, but you are heavily relying on your teammates and exposed to their bad gameplay, leaving you with no other choice than to donate the enemy with some gold. As soon as I decide to leave my mates and go on a walk alone, random encounters with the enemy end up like this. And if you play Yuumi jungle, your games are going to end up like this.
Defeat.
But somehow I still managed to make nearly as much damage as my ADC. However, I dove straight into the third game and once again asked my top laner kindly if he could help me beating up my blue buff. But the only reaction I got was him pinching my smite. He probably wanted to say, "This is called smite and does some damage to jungle monsters and at the same time it heals you. This is very useful when you are playing jungle." Yeah, thanks dickhead, I was more asking for assistance so I don't have to spend the first 10 minutes fighting a rock. And after 1 minute since the incidents at the beginning my top laner started to ask me for help, but I wasn't in a mood to help, so he had to deal with his own problem.
An ally has been slain.
On the mid lane I attached to the brand to prevent him from dying since the Yasuo was in a mood to tower dive him. And after he got the brand the Yasuo just could have walked away, but I insulted his mom which made him stay, and the tower delivered him one more shot into his face. Back on the bot lane again, and we were looking for an opportunity to tower dive them, but I didn't want to let that polar bear survive with 1 HP, so I sent one of my missiles to get me 300 gold. We spotted the Yasuo on the mid lane and thought we could take him easily, but nothing is more broken than a fed Yasuo and my under-leveled ass wasn't helping at all while flying from one teammate to another, so he got a quarter and you can probably imagine how this game ended.
Defeat.
Next game and the enemy team abused my weak early game right away by invading my jungle and forcing me to do my red buff first and making me completely useless for the first 10 minutes with 30 more to follow. I waited behind a rock for the lantern man to overextend since I had to make a play to prevent my team from going mental, and after he gained some distance involuntary from his turret I was able to set him on fire and collect my reward. So I got late for my Drake, but then I saw the Olaf being scared of a cat like no one has ever been before, panic flashing against the wall screaming for mercy. And suddenly I met the polar bear in my jungle. Maybe due to the climate change he had to switch his territory, but I prefer to have my own space and kept him off me. So I gathered my team to hunt it down, but he somehow managed to escape with 1 HP and you guys can imagine to what this kind of overextending leads.
Shut down. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill.
But it is League of Legends after all, so every bad performance gets commented. But let's take some time to check out this guy's profile. So our last attempt to change the game was to steal the Drake, but even that turned out to be a failure, so I tried to use the teleport me away machine, but they don't take any passengers that got hit by an enemy attack.
Defeat.
New game and a new opportunity to carry my teammates, and I had to save my fish from the WWE fighter, preventing him from getting demolished by his combo. So now it was our turn to fight back with my poke advantage. Oh shit. Well, time to clear my blue buff to catch up some XP. Yeah, I know that I am underleveled and don't have the capability to fight a super minion, but don't underestimate my off-meta pick. Since the current plan getting my blue buff and ganking my lanes wasn't quite successful for me, and my boys decided to go for an invade, and luckily the enemy team wasn't paying attention, so we got the wolf. Apparently, he was looking for Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother's house since he lost his first 2 scuttle crabs against a Yumi jungle. I knew it, that this is a good off-meta pick. After this demonstration of power I went to the mid lane and hopped on a Kali to kill the man with 100 different weapons, but the electric disco ball turned out to be more painful than expected, but it got lost in the smoke and a sniper shot from the south saved our ass. Maybe I should stick to the Akali the rest of the game. Easy win. Yumi jungle is too broken. And if you want to know why this Aurelia is losing against a blitzcrank top, click on this video right here.